I sat in the hospital room, listening to the sounds of the monitors. The window was open, and the cold autumn wind brought with it the sense that reminded me of life beyond these walls. I was 37, and I never thought my story would end here. A car accident had changed my life in an instant, from an ordinary day to finding myself in a hospital with a broken body and shattered dreams. In the next room lay John. He was younger than me, probably in his early 20s. His smile seemed to contrast sharply with the grim atmosphere we were in. I learned that his diagnosis was terminal, cancer that had progressed despite all attempts to treat it. It felt like life had already slipped away from him, yet there was a spark in his eyes that ignited hope. I met John during one of the nurse's visits. He was lying in bed, intently flipping through travel catalogs. I asked him what he was interested in, and he shared his unfulfilled dream: to visit Japan, to see the cherry blossoms in bloom, to immerse himself in a culture he had heard so much about. His words were filled with excitement, but I felt the bitterness of time running out on his dream. At that moment, I realized I couldn't just sit and watch John's dream dissolve into thin air. I decided to help. It was a crazy idea, but somehow I felt confident that I could make a difference. I started looking for ways to fulfill his dream. I learned that there are charitable organizations that help people with serious illnesses realize their last wishes. I reached out to a few of them, sharing John's story and his dream. After several days of efforts, I finally received confirmation. John could make his trip to Japan. When I shared this news with John, his reaction was incredible. His eyes sparkled, and his smile became so bright that it seemed to overshadow the hospital walls. We began preparing for the trip. I helped him organize everything, from tickets to the itinerary. Each day was filled with energy and anticipation. The day finally arrived for us to depart. I remember sitting on the plane, holding John's hand as he gazed out the window, watching the world change from above. Every moment was filled with joy and anxiety. I knew this trip could be his last. When we arrived in Japan, John was in awe. We visited parks filled with cherry blossoms, strolled through the streets of Tokyo, and savored dishes he had only dreamed of. I watched his face light up with happiness as he laughed, momentarily forgetting about pain and fear. We even visited traditional tea ceremonies, where he tried to hold the cup properly, and his laughter rang out like music. However, with each passing day, I noticed his strength waning. He tried to enjoy every moment, but I could see how hard it was for him. It was a difficult situation, but I was there to support him. One evening, as we sat by the sea, John looked at me and quietly said, "I never thought I could feel this free." His words struck a chord in me, and I realized this moment was priceless. Our trip was coming to an end, and I knew John would soon return to the hospital. But at that moment, standing under the blooming cherry trees, with his eyes filled with joy, I understood we had done something significant. We had given him a piece of life that he could take with him. Returning to the hospital, I felt something had changed. John was filled with gratitude, and I felt a sense of duty fulfilled. Although we knew his time was limited, I realized that the true value of life lies not in its duration, but in the moments we share together. After returning to the hospital, John continued to fight his illness, but I could see he had become a different person. He spoke about his dreams, about what he wanted to achieve, even if it meant only a short time. His zest for life became a lesson for me. It's important to cherish every moment, as time passes so quickly. My own injury seemed less severe compared to his struggle. I realized that life is not just about survival. It's about how we can do something good for others. I found a new meaning in my life, and it was thanks to John. When I sat in that hospital, watching him, I understood that life is a gift. Even in the darkest times, dreams can come true. Time flies, and it's essential not to forget what we can do for those we love. I remember one time we were sitting together in the room, and John asked me, "Do you have a dream?" I paused. I had never paid much attention to my own desires, but now, looking at him, I realized life is too short to postpone dreams. I told him about my long-held wish to travel the world, to explore new horizons. John smiled and said, "Then do it. Live fully. My story with John came to an end, but he will always remain in my heart. I thank him for teaching me to appreciate every moment. And though our paths diverged, his spirit will live on in everything I do. I returned home with a renewed perspective on life and vowed to pursue my dreams without waiting for the perfect moment. Now I know that life is not just a path, but a journey filled with moments that shape us. Time passes, and in every day, there are opportunities worth seizing. I believe that John lives on in me, in my actions and decisions. I will live in a way that honors his dreams.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I'd really appreciate it if you took a moment to click that button. I put a lot of effort into searching through Reddit so you can enjoy the stories I've found just for you. You already know what to do. See you in the next video?